Since its opening in July 1956, Salisbury Airport, the second largest in Africa, has welcomed and said bon voyage to hundreds of international aircraft and important travellers. But on this particular day, our cameraman was looking for an unknown quantity, the millionth passenger. An airport has all the fascination of a dockyard for young and old alike, and the terrace at the Salisbury terminal is invariably crowded with sightseers at the weekend as the giant liners depart for places that are only names to many of the watchers. On this day, wedged between the giant DC-8s and the Federation's own Viscounts, President Chombe's private plane took off for Katanga. Behind the scenes at an airport is equally fascinating, as the movements of aircraft are plotted by models reminiscent of wartime control rooms. Meanwhile, the person we have been waiting for has arrived. He might have been a small child or even the Prime Minister, but in fact was a Mr. Arthur Cornford, a Canadian businessman, returning to London on the Comet. Unaware that his name on the passenger list just happened to label him the millionth passenger, Mr. Cornford must have wondered what was happening as he was whisked away to meet the Minister of Transport, Mr. W.H. Eastwood, and be presented with a suitcase to mark the occasion. Yes, as Mr. Cornford climbed aboard that evening, he must still have been surprised at arriving at the airport as an ordinary man in the street and departing as a VIP, Central African Airways millionth passenger. Population. In 1902, when ore deposits were found here to be similar to those in Broken Hill, Australia, the mine and town were named after their twin down under. Nowadays, Broken Hill, northern Rhodesia, is speedily establishing itself as one of the major industrial centres of the north. The Central African Road Service has its workshops here, ensuring that their huge trucks are fit for the 1,500-mile trek between the Rhodesias and Kenya. Rhodesia Railways, too, has its main repair workshops in Broken Hill, with its new motive power depot, which was recently opened by the Federal Prime Minister, Sir Roy Welensky. But there's no doubt about it, the focal point is the Broken Hill mine. Containing some of the richest deposits in the world, averaging up to 50% metal content as to 25% elsewhere, the mine produces about 1,200 tons of lead and 2,500 tons of zinc per month. The transformation of the ore is a fascinating one, as here the flotation process of separating zinc sulfide from lead sulfide takes place, with the lead finally being channeled away to the left and the zinc to the right. Later, the dry zinc sulfide is peeled from filter drums like icing from a cake, and the giant cathodes are lifted from the electrolytic tanks prior to having the processed zinc sheets stripped from them. Zinc ingots, too, are produced like loaves of bread as the molten metal is poured into the molds. The Governor-General of the Federation, Lord Dalhousie, was immensely interested in the various processes as he made a recent shirt-sleeved tour of the mine. Lord Dalhousie was shown a model of a new plant, part of a £4.5 million project, which will be capable of treating portions of the ore not previously amenable to processing. The new plant will place Broken Hill's major industry in the front rank of world lead and zinc producers and prove a worthy contribution to the Federation's economy.